Hi, this is your Professor Sudha Kolathuparambil. I am going to explain you the functions of several variables. Assume a bookstore is selling pens for $2 each and books they are selling for $3 each and caps $10 each. Assume they sold X pens. That means if X pens are sold, then what will be the revenue? So I can express this as a revenue function. Cost of pen is $2 each, so it will be 2 times X. If they are selling X pens and Y books, we can express the revenue function. They are selling X pens for $2 each, so it will be 2x. Revenue from selling Y books will be, books are $3 each, so 3y. So this is known as the function of one variable. This is the function of two variables. So we cannot just write r of x, right? That is wrong way to write this. So we need to write this. This has two variables, so this will be r of x comma y. Now assume they are selling X pens and Y books and Z caps, Z number of caps. Then I can express this revenue as a function of three variable x, y, z. It will be 2x plus 3y plus 10z. You are familiar with this formula, right? A equal P times 1 plus R over N power NT. This is the compound interest formula. I can express this A in terms of four variables: A of P, comma R, comma N, comma T. If you get a question like this, find A of 5000, 0.025, 4, comma 5. This P correspond to 5000, R is 0.025, N is 4 and T is 5. And substitute this value into the corresponding variable here into the formula, and you can use the calculator to find the value. So substitute this value for P, this is R, this is for N, and this is for T. Then if you enter this into the calculator, you will get 5663.54. We can interpret this as an investment of $5,000 in an account with an annual percentage rate of this one in percentage is 2.5, right? So 2.5% compounded. This is 4, right? So it is compounded quarterly for 5 years. T is the number of years. Has a future value of 5663.54. In this example, the total cost to a company in thousands of dollars is given by this function. It has four variables. You can see x, y, z and w, where x dollars is spent for labor, y dollars for raw materials, and z dollars for advertising, and w dollars for machinery. We need to find c of 3, 2, 0, 10. So this is x, y, z, w. In this function, replace this x, y, z with this value and evaluate that. If you enter this into the calculator, you will get the value 43.6, but that is in thousands of dollars. You need to multiply 43.6 by 1000 and the final answer will be $43,600. Next is determine the domain of each function of two variables. So for the first one, the denominator cannot be 0, right? It's a rational expression, so denominator cannot be 0. Denominator will be 0 when x and y are equal. So the condition will be x cannot be equal y. So the domain is all the values of x comma y such that x not equal y. We can write the domain is all the values of x comma y such that y not equal x. Next one, denominator cannot be 0 here, so x cannot be 3 and y cannot be negative 2. So we can write domain is all the values of x comma y such that x cannot be equal to 3 and y cannot be equal negative 2. The third question, we need to find the domain of, this is the natural log. So the argument has to be positive. That means it has to be greater than 0. So we can set this greater than 0 and solve. So y has to be greater than x cube. So we can write domain is all the values of x comma y such that y has to be greater than x cube. Fourth question, here x can be any real, but the y is under the radical sign. So radicand has to be greater than or equal 0. That means y has to be greater than or equal 0. So the condition will be domain is all the values of x comma y such that y greater than or equal 0. Fifth question, this is under the radical sign, so radicand has to be greater than or equal 0. So y has to be greater than or equal 5x. So we can write domain is all the values of x comma y such that y greater than or equal 5x.